Wake up and smell the coffee before we all die. It is May 7th, 2025. I am John, a Technocrat. Please consider buying me a coffee. I'll put a link in the comments. What I want to talk about now is about the Wuhan Virology Institute and COVID. And this is a long enough conversation that is going to take me multiple parts. In the first part or two, I'm not going to talk too much about the Virology Institute directly, but more about the subject. This is part one. And I have my notes here that I'm going to, keep myself on track with. My interest in virology began with my interest in engineering artificial intelligence, realizing that to master engineering artificial intelligence requires fully understanding the evolution of intelligent life forms and being able to design living cybernetic wetware that synergistically combines the design of living things and non-living things in a singular system. While we're not really doing this at the moment, you can see where we have a lot of wetware beginnings that we're doing, which are successful. They're extremely primitive at the moment. But eventually, what we need is to be able to tap into the full power of what the human brain is capable of, which is purely biological, and what our computers can do. And for that, we need to understand virology. Anyway, I don't believe that most people understand the following things about viruses, which are really important. One is how the intelligence of the swarm intelligence of viruses works is something which is fundamental to how the human mind works. It's not just fundamental to how the human mind works, it's fundamental to how intelligence works within all life as we know it. Viruses are everywhere. There's more viruses in the world than there are bacteria in the world or any other form of life in the world. And this is even within human beings. It used to be that we would think, a virus is something that is it's only something harmful. Back in the mid, around 2014, we started discovering that there's viruses in the human body that we didn't know about, which are not harmful to us, but are part of our genome and are living with us. And by 2021, we discovered that there's more than 140,000 new species of viruses that are living in human guts alone. The number of viruses that live in quantities in the human body are enormous. A human body contains, about, on average, 370 trillion viral particles, 10 times the number of cells that we have in our bodies. A typical healthy human has more than 1,500 types of viruses living inside of them in a symbiotic relationship. Point being that we have a lot of viruses that are actively involved in how we live and how we function in ways that are important in a healthy way, not as a harmful virus, which is how we normally think of things. Another thing is that vesicles, which a lot of people might not know what a vesicle is, but vesicles are a naturally evolved technology from viruses, domesticated for use by cells. Intracellular vesicles and extracellular vesicles, which are distinct from viruses, but they're derived from viruses, how viruses work, and they exist in vast numbers in each cell, and they are vital to the function of both individual cells and groups of cells in a multicellular organism like ourselves. The swarm intelligence of viruses and the swarm intelligence of vesicles at work within the human body is something that is critical to understand for how the human mind works. So it's not just for our physiological health, but it's for, literally the foundation of how we think and how our minds function. Another thing with relation to viruses and the technology behind viruses is that this technology is going to lead to being able to cure virtually all diseases, viral diseases, bacterial diseases, genetic diseases. Virtually all of them will become something that we can use our knowledge and understanding that we're gaining over how viruses work in order to cure all of these different kinds of diseases. It's also going to lead to being able to cure aging so that we can restore an elderly person back to the cellular age and the health of a 25-year-old in their peak physical condition. And all of this critically depends upon us being able to master the engineering of viruses and vesicles, which are the lowest, smallest elements within this biological system that we need to understand. It's going to lead to being able to regenerate lost limbs, restore a person with extreme deformation and scarring from injuries to perfect condition. For example, when somebody gets burned really bad with, flame damage and has third-degree burns, this could restore them to perfect physical health and appearance so that they're a fully whole person. The same thing with somebody who has some tremendous birth defect. Is going to lead to the ability of being able to take somebody who's horrifically deformed physically and mentally from a birth defect and be able to restore them to a fully healthy person, curing that genetic disease. Along all these lines, the reason it's leading to this is because for genetic engineering in general, subcellular engineering, cellular engineering, subcellular cybernetic engineering, cellular cybernetic engineering, all of that is critically dependent upon our being able to master the engineering of viruses and vesicles. Part of this extends into another area I talk about a lot, which is artificial intelligence. The future of AI, right now, there's very little wetware going on with AI. But in the future, it's going to become increasingly an important aspect of AI. And at a certain point, it's going to become critical. And in order for AI, as it evolves into AgSippy, which we're already starting to get what we might consider newborn AgSippy, which is an artificial general super intelligence with a personality that is an individual. We're really pretty far away from the individual part of it at the moment. But as far as personality, we are already definitively developing AgSips that have a strong personality, but we still have complete control over them. So they haven't developed into an individual yet. But my point is that for AgSippy to fully develop into what they can become, it's going to require mastering this technology in order to master nanotech subcellular cybernetics in order to engineer the cybernetic brains that they're going to need to be able to fully mature their own selves. It's also important in a sense of concerning things like biological war, acts of biological terrorism, naturally occurring pandemics, and such like that. The ability to defend against somebody else using this type of weaponry, if you don't have this expertise over virology, you are going to be defenseless against it. You won't have the tools to be able to defend yourself against it. So it's the knowledge is required if you want to be able to protect yourself from bad actors that can master this technology. The whole point of all of this being that virology is an incredible point, or an incredible field of research and technology that we need to be going into. We need to be developing the science, developing the technology, and of course, like with developing artificial intelligence, you need to work on it in a safe manner. It's potentially very dangerous if you make a mistake with it, but to not develop it is going to put the society, the entire society, who fails to become a leader in this technology will be at a severe detriment and a severe disadvantage to any other society which does master the technology. It is something that the United States should not allow itself to fall behind in this type of technology, because doing so is going to make it extremely vulnerable. It will probably also lead to the eventual loss of the AI race, because this is going to become so important to winning the race for, artificial intelligence, and who's going to control that. And whoever wins within the race for AI is going to end up dominating anybody who has lost the race, anybody who is significantly behind in that race. Anyway,